How's it going, guys? Unfortunately, Hippie was sent to defend Greenland by himself, so you're stuck with me today. I just wanted to give you an update on Hearse Hero. It's going well, it's going really well. The FPS is usually a lot higher than this, it's just because I'm recording. You can also boost your FPS further by going into the options and turning this off, the second camera in the top right. So yeah, if you're a channel joiner, you can get a key for this right now. There are 3 more levels added to Hearse Hero. This is one of them. It's supposed to be quite difficult. If you get stuck, just press the E key. It's supposed to be a harder level. You get a lot more time, and as you can see, there's some cool lighting, right? You've got a flashlight on your car. Flashlights, right? What are they called? Headlights. You can see there's also road lights, right? So there's a light there. You might be able to see it, and we can just knock it over, and then after a few seconds it'll disappear, and you see it got a lot darker there. So yeah, 3 new levels featuring some interesting decision making. You can play it right now. Channel joiners, check the link in the description. I'll also be giving out some keys over the course of this video, and I might have a pinned comment as well with some more keys on it. You'll have to answer some basic maths questions. What is 3 plus 3? Right? Maybe I'll put some chemical engineering questions in there. In water treatment processes, flocculation is typically carried out with what other step? The first letter of that other step is the missing letter here. I don't know, but stupid people don't deserve keys, basically, unless they give me money, in which case they deserve keys. So this is one of the new levels, right? And I'll show you the other ones. So the example town from the first time, I can just turn off all of those sound things. There you go. The example town from the first time has had the back extended here. Lots of people were getting stuck here and complaining about it, right? So this has all been widened so that you can get around it. It makes the level a bit easier, but it's the first level. It's supposed to be quite easy, right? Keep in mind that every single one of these levels is openable within the level editor, within the game. All you got to do is, so let's say you're on the very placeholder main menu. Okay, so very placeholder main menu. Here are your new levels. Occasionally, just when I do these rapid exports, my FPS drops to 15. That's just something we have to deal with, but it shouldn't happen in your copy of the game. I think it's because of when I'm launching it through my editor. Either way, so we got 4 new levels and an FPS test, which I'm trying to fix that problem, basically. We'll get to it. But if you open the custom level editor, where you can make your own levels, you go to File, New Map. You can open up the example town, the example city, or city 1 or city 2. These are the 4 new levels, and you can just explore them. So we've seen example town. This is example city. I made this map too big. It took me ages to make, and basically you get lower FPS on this map than other maps, and it's because it's just massive. It basically should be 3 maps. So I could have made 3 levels in this time. The aim for the game is to launch with 20 levels, right? 20 levels. So, I mean, I could show you me playing on it, but it's, it's a little bit low FPS, but basically there's a big highway that comes down the middle here, and the cars on that highway go very, very fast. So that's very funny. And yeah, if you open it in the map editor, you can say, well, I don't like any of these buildings, and you can just delete them all and replace them with trees. There you go, right? And then we can just play it. Looks like we're playing it now. A lot of work has been going into optimization, which I'll cover later on in the video. So the FPS is higher than it was in the last build in general. It's just this map's too big. The bigger the map, the more stuff is in the map. The harder the game has to work, the lower your FPS. So I only get about 100 FPS in 4K on this map. While recording, it says it's about 70. And look, there's all my trees, right? And, if the cars on the road are bothering you, you can just turn them off. In your copy, there won't be those blue lines at the bottom. Ooh, that's a bit weird. Why did those guys just disappear into the floor? That's a weird bug. It does happen sometimes. I need to sort that out. Basically, if I just go back to the map editor and then replay test the level, it won't happen. It's just something to do with when the level exports. Sometimes it does that. You can also export these levels to the Steam Workshop and download other people's levels through the Steam Workshop. It's F to use your flashlight. On some levels where it's darker, the flashlight will start on. Sorry, the headlights. I don't know why I keep calling them flashlights. So now they shouldn't disappear into the ground. It just happens sometimes. Oh, they're still doing it. Okay, I'm gonna have to sort that out. That's really weird. It doesn't usually happen, man. It doesn't usually happen. Anyway, we'll move on. So there's another city map. I wanted to show you it in the level editor, right? So there's another city map. This one it's sunset, but when you open it up in the level editor, it's not sunset. It's a lot smaller, as you can see. You can go up here to lighting, and you can change the lighting to whatever you want. So you can make it sunset as it should be. You can make it look like Bradford if you want. This is what Bradford looks like. And you can see I've been messing around with the lights, right? You can see some lights there. It's just more lights means lower FPS, so can't have too many lights. So here we are, this is Bradford, and your lights do work in Bradford, very, very useful. Bradford looks exactly like this, by the way. So this is another map where you've got this, and you can see the FPS is literally double. It's 120, and it would be more if I wasn't recording. And yeah, you see there's like this highway of death where the cars are quite fast, so that encourages the player to go around the highway, which is the other way to the way I was just going. These blue lines on the floor, they wouldn't be there in your version, it's just while I'm debugging. It tells me where the cars are going to go, basically. So, you know, big highway of death, and you can just go to where it gets a bit thinner, and then you can get across, right, without hitting things. Maybe you can collide with some stuff. I added a bridge here. There are... we'll get to that, but you can see the sun there. We're running out of time, that's why, but basically if I well, we'll wait for the time to run out. Once the time runs out in a level, you can just keep driving, right? You know, just so you can learn the level, right? We'll get some of these bollards out of the way. And so if you hit this guy, right, you're going to want to turn around, because then the police car spawns there and he tries to push you into the lake. The other thing is you no longer fall from the top of the map, you just teleport to the first thing. You teleport to your initial starting location. So yeah, all of these maps are playable normally by pressing the buttons in the main menu, or you can, you know, do various things. I'm not sure what's happened there. Yeah, there we go, it's back to Bradford mode. Or you can open it up in the map editor and you can just change it to your heart's delight, you know, and you can re-export this to the Steam Workshop if you want, right? You can move the graves around if you want. You can change the lighting even more. You can just set it back to the default. You can add, let's say, you know, this car path is annoying you. Let's say you actually want the cars to go at 100 kilometers an hour here, and you can just move your player to this location, press play test, wait a few seconds. The bigger the map, the longer it takes. The slower your computer, the longer it takes, you know, for the playtest map to load. And you can just check it out. What is 17 minus 17? You can just see how your changes have affected things, right? And I must have changed the wrong car path, or not hit enter or something. Yeah. So I can just return to the map editor, right? So yeah, I do actually really want to fix that. Which one was it? Interesting. Well, yeah, I could just make them all 100. I think I basically changed the wrong one. But yeah, you could just... I want all the cars to be super fast. That one could be 300, right? There we go. And then you can see the super mega fast cars. Wow, incredible, right? So 3 more levels. Each level should take you about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. And so, you know, we're up to an hour worth of content. The final release, I want 20 levels. As you can see, the car's going pretty fast now. If you hit them, it's probably going to mess you up. And yeah, you can, you know, turn your lights on or whatever. So, this is City 001, which is not the first city I made. And then I believe I already showed you City 002, but here it is. Yeah, so it looks very cool, etc. You can, you know, change the lighting and so on. I think it's still applying the old Bradford lighting, but this one is purple sunset if you play it. You get these sunsets in about February and November time in the UK. In the north, everything turns purple. It's pretty cool. If you know the equator, you won't be familiar with this because they don't have purple sunsets. Very strange. And yeah, you can export the levels to the Steam Workshop if you want. Next thing, yeah, lots of bug fixes. The driving is a lot better than it used to be, and also I made a lot of optimizations. The next thing I'm working on are bridges, right? So this is a bridge, for example. I've just dumped it in one of the other levels because I was just checking it out. So you'll be able to add bridges to your levels. I just wanted a bit more elevation. The big city test map has elevation in that the whole, like, half the map is tilted upwards, and you can also do that in the map editor. It's a bit awkward, but you can do it. It's doing that 15 FPS thing again. I really need to figure out how to sort that out. It's just something to do with the way the editor interacts with OBS and so on. Anyway, you can make your own lighting presets, for example, and so you can actually just make it pitch black if you want. This is almost pitch black. There's just a little bit of ambient light, basically. You could call it moonlight if you want, just so it's not literally black. And the lights are very useful there, right? And you can have your flashlights. So I was just messing around with this bridge. I'm still making it, right? So people keep falling through it, basically. That's the main issue. But yeah, you get some elevation. You know, you can run people over. Still a work in progress, right? If you get... that's like a house beneath the bridge, but... that's what I got stuck on there. But yeah, you can see, you know, the lights from the lamps and so on, a lot more useful here. And if you were to knock them over... This billboard also has some lights on the top. So, yeah, that one just got hit by the cars. Obviously, the cars are going to mess it up a bit. Eventually, if it stops getting hit for a few seconds, it'll despawn. But if it keeps getting hit, it won't. And, yeah, you know, it's a darker map. So I've been messing around with lighting and stuff. I really wanted to show you the optimizations, but it's going to get quite technical now. So get your thinking caps on. So... first things first, let's disable the optimization. And we'll launch the FPS test. So, I figured out that the main reason for the lag are all the people walking around. Like, not the targets, just the random people walking around, right? And you see it's very, very, very laggy. Very, very laggy. That's because there's over 500 people here walking around. Sorry, just turn off the music. Although that might be SFX actually. Yeah, it is. I'll just turn off all the audio. So you can see, for starters, I was getting that 15 FPS bug, which I really need to sort out. But yeah, we're getting a solid 26 FPS here, and that's because there's over 500 people walking there. So what I can do is enable my optimizations, which I've been working on. And what this is doing, I shall now explain to you. There it is. So immediately, right? So if we go to the same place, the FPS will be about the same, actually. So, sorry, I'm getting that 15 FPS bug, so we just have to wait a few seconds. It's very frustrating. I should edit it out to make the game look a lot better than it is. But yeah, the next steps are going to be like, I need to add... I need to fix this 15 FPS bug, but I don't know if, like, because the testers haven't reported having it, so I'm pretty sure it's just something to do with my editor. Because after a few seconds, it'll go away. There, it's just gone away now. I don't know if you can tell from the recording, but now I'm getting 32, which is still very low. And that's because there are, you know, 500 people walking around. Okay, fair enough. But before it was 20, right? So... What's happening here? What's happening? So do you see right at the edge of this? They're like frozen in place as they come out. They're frozen in place as they come out there. I don't know if you can see my cursor. You can see it not as well on the left edge, but it is there. So what's happening is they have to animate, right? They got to move, do their walking animation. That's what's lagging the game. It's not the fact that they're there, which only lags them a little bit. It's not the fact that they're moving, it's the animation. So what's happening is this building has a collision box, right? I mean, when you slam into it, that's what's happening there. There's a collision box there. And if you basically the camera is shooting out loads of laser beams to every single walker on the level. Um, and if the laser beam is intercepted by this building or any of the other buildings, then the person will not animate because that means you probably can't see them. Obviously, there are some edge cases where you can just see them a little bit, but I mean, I don't really see it as a problem. I would rather you had higher FPS, right? So, what this means is that as we retreat behind this building and fewer people are observable, the FPS is going to go up. So, it was 20 before any of the checks, then it was 30, here it's 40. As we continue to go behind, right, it's going to shoot up, and now it's 120, right? Now, there's another stage to this as well, because you might think, well, having to shoot out all those laser beams, that's obviously a pain in the neck. So the first thing the camera does is it just does a brief check if the people are in front of it, right? If the people are in front of it, then it sends the laser beams, because if it can't see them, if it wouldn't be able to see them in the first place, then there's no reason to send out the laser beams. So if we switch to the reverse camera, you'll see my FPS just goes up to 120, which is the maximum because I've got VSync turned on. So, well, it should be going to 144, but usually it seems to top out at 120 for some reason. Um, so now it's not actually sending any of the rays because there's nobody there to be able to see anyway. So if we retreat further and further behind this building and still face them, right, it's still sending out the rays. And because there's 500 people back there, which in a real level, there's not going to be 500 people, right? It's just a showcase, getting 80 FPS. But if we look away, we get 120. Now, the eagle-eyed Amogus will be like, what happens if you've got the second camera enabled, which does lower the FPS for other reasons. Basically, they just don't animate because the second camera is a tiny little box up in the top right, and I'd rather you had higher FPS. So as you can see, it's like a 2D SNES game up there. They've got they're not actually animating in the second camera, and I don't really see that as a problem because if they were, you would have you'd have 20 FPS in this case instead of over 100. What is the first digit of pi? So the main thing is, of course, building the levels, right? Because if you make a smaller level, so this example city is way, 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 way too big. Because it was the first city I made, right? It's way too big because then I have to basically have people walking around all the time, everywhere, people walking around. And so there's just more people in total. Even if you're not looking at them, it still has a small cost associated with it. So the next one was literally one third the size. Um, and then the one after that is basically the same size as the one before it. It might even be slightly smaller. So I hope you found that useful. Like I said, if you're a channel member, just send me a DM on Discord or fill out the form, which will be linked in the description, and you can get a key to play this game right now. What's next for me is working on that dark mode, fixing that bridge, right? People dropping through the bridge. And then I need to work on the Steam store page because it is on Steam. You get your key right now and you can play it, but there's no store page. You can't wishlist it or anything. So that's the plan for the next month or so. I hope you have a lovely day.